Hello.
Hey, Lerato, how are you doing?
Hey, Nhlamu. Good and you, brother?
Excellent. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight for this chat. I see you have a cap on. I didn't know you as a cap guy.
Listen, the lockdown has had our afro growing lot. So just had to cover it there, man.
Okay. Cool, man. No, not a problem.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. I'm not going to waste too much time with introductions, but I think it's only fair to have you tell us a little bit about who you are, your background. As you can see, people are busy joining one by one, but feel free to elaboratively explain your background and what we're going to be talking about today.
All right, fantastic. Well, my name is Nhlamulo Ntabeni. I am a South African young man who lives in South Africa. I just always have to indicate that. First, I'm God-fearing, and secondly, I have my postgraduate degrees with several universities around the South African country. I am the MD for Moolow, and Moolow is a consultancy that focuses on training, marketing and branding, business consultation, and leadership development. We are accredited with several CETAs for that, with our services that we offer. I'm also a consultant privately. And the latest news is that I just recently joined the RBA board, which is the Rome-based agencies that focus on agriculture and the food chain across the world. So I am one of the South African representatives for that board of the Youth Council. And before I continue, I also promised one of my, the guy who dresses my clothes, the guy who dresses me, that I would be wearing his clothes. But turns out I couldn't. But shout out to Lungster. He's the guy that makes sure that I always look great at my talks and each and every event that I go to. He's the guy that takes care of me. You guys can follow him at Lungster21. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I have a feeling you have it written down somewhere. You're reading
Thing is, I sometimes forget certain things, so I have to kind of like make a note there. Yeah.
Oh man, no, that's awesome. As you've heard, guys, Nhlamulo is joining us today to basically share his experience as an entrepreneur as well as board member. He's also involved in a million other things that I think he didn't want to touch on right now. Thank you again, Nhlamulo. I think we're going to start the combo by just having a natural dialogue, about what you do, about what I do, about your experience during lockdown, and what you think we should also be doing post-lockdown.
Yeah.
So we'll start it off by just, kind of tackling the first question. How has COVID-19 and the lockdown impacted the way that you do business as an entrepreneur?
Well, firstly, you for one know that I like visiting people, talking to people, and just traveling at large. So I've been home for the past 3 weeks. I literally go buy one item at the shops every day so I can be able to get out. But how it's affected our business is that Moolow is a consultancy, as I've indicated to you, that our business is based around human interaction and just constantly seeing people and sealing deals. That is what our company is based around. And our training sector involves us engaging with different types of people. So that has affected business very largely. However, platforms like Zoom, WhatsApp, emails, and cell phone calls have become a big factor in our company right now. And a lot of our meetings are conducted through that way. And an interview like this is taking place by another social platform of the Instagram Live. So that's one of the things that's affected us. another thing is that our company, our whole team travels a lot, be it international or locally. So now we are forced to be configured to stay in one space.
Yeah.
So we're spending less on traveling and more on our thinking budget, because we
Yeah.
really have to think of innovative ways that will spark a new idea or something that's going to assist us financially moving forward.
Yeah.
Finally, another thing is that we are in a risky position right now as to a lot of companies. Some companies can no longer afford our services, so we now have to reevaluate as to what is our service offering to the companies that we service. And
okay, so
and unfortunately, another thing just to add on there is that hi Lerato, your camera's just turned around.
Oh my goodness, apologies, I'm busy waving. Yeah, okay.
So fortunately, another thing that's helped change our company, the way we do business, is that we have less time now. We don't have time at all to entertain fruitless businesses. So we don't meet people for tea anymore, to speak about whatsoever that they promised to give us. So now it's a matter of what service offering can we bring to a company, and if they're able to afford it. If they can't, then they should move on to the next service provider.
Sure. It sounds like a mouthful, man. Like I'm particularly interested by the traveling part. I mean, I think about a month ago, you and I were in Limpopo, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Doing some work for some mining company. Those experiences are so human. Like you can't really replace that with a video call or a normal phone call. So how have you had to almost adjust and not let the human touch, the human connection affect the actual closing and doing of business?
You know what, Lerato? I've noticed something ever since the lockdown started, is that us as SMMEs always speak to the wrong guys and companies. And the lockdown has allowed us to skip the process of speaking to irrelevant people. And you speak directly to the correct people. So that's why we've managed to see, I think, 2 clients already in the lockdown, because we spoke to the relevant people that need us to action the matter. So that's the opportunity that we have now. There's no longer people that are gatekeepers for the decision makers.
Okay.
So we get straight to the point. Yeah.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining the call. I'm on the live call with Nhlamulo Ntabeni. He's the managing director of Moolow and also sits on the board and does a million other things on the side. The purpose of today's discussion is to chat about some of the key things entrepreneurs should consider doing during and post lockdown. If you have any questions, feel free to post them at the bottom in the comment section, and I'll read them over to Nhlamulo for us to tackle together over our call. So Nhlamulo, something else that I'd like to kind of pick your brain on is what are some of the good habits that you think you've picked up during the lockdown itself?
Oh, during the lockdown.
Yeah.
You know, Lerato, I'm one confident guy. I thought for a very long time, I thought I could bulldoze and open doors, but I actually had a small fear. No, it's not actually a habit, but it's actually a fear that I had. I normally have a phobia of talking to people who are a real power, like executive powers, positions. And all of a sudden, I mean, we've had access to speak to ambassadors that have been promising us to contact us. So I've overcome my fear of now creating a friendship and a relationship with them. So what is the habit that I've gained is just to be more confident and sure about myself. So I think now I've become more sure about the service offering that I offer as myself.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it gives like that confidence, you know, that
it
let
boosts
me try
it.
myself out. Let me try myself out at that executive.
Absolutely. I mean, it started off with us sending out SMSs to all our clients, notifying them about how we're going to be offering services. And then one of the ambassadors of the countries that we're working with responded and asked why I haven't contacted them. So I was like, jackpot.
And you get in there. Get in.
Jackpot.
No, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Something that I think some SMMEs might also find helpful. I think you mentioned it earlier. You kind of cut through the BS. You don't spend too much time trying to make links with a million people. I love that point. I think small businesses need to really take advantage of that fact. another thing that I'd like to hear your thoughts on, perhaps the lockdown has also helped us be able to reflect on if really our business has kind of robust offerings that people would buy into, even if, say, the founders of the business aren't the ones presenting. Would someone still buy into that same product or service? Something worth thinking about, something to reflect on. So Nhlamu, something I think many of us wonder as small business owners, right? Which strategies or approaches do you think entrepreneurs could start applying in order to come out strong or stronger post lockdown?
Well, I think the one thing that we need to focus on is number one is that our young entrepreneurs and young Black people should just focus on being consistent. So moving forward from now, be consistent in your service offering and focus on one goal, achieve it, and then move on to the next one. What I've seen a lot of young people nowadays is that we want to be everywhere. And I mean, our company is also encountered it. I mean, with when COVID started, our service offering speaks nothing to health. But now Moolow wanted to step into the offerings of sanitizers, protectional wear, all of these things. And it's not our service offering. And now we've left our clients hanging because we're trying to get quick money. So we then decided that we're not going to entertain it. I mean, earlier this week, we also had another opportunity, which we strongly thought we shouldn't do, but we did it anyway. And again, if it's not your core business, do not stick to it. Stick to what you normally do. And I promise you'll always be successful. It might take a bit longer than you expect, but you will always be successful. So be consistent. Stay relevant to your market and make sure that you have consistent customer interactions. Call your suppliers, call your clients, make sure they're okay. You know what I mean? If you hear that the florist is open, send flowers to your clients. Send gifts and continue. Make sure that the relationship is still there. And I'm happy to see that Kensani is on the line. She's actually one of the people that have been vouching for us with one of our clients. And thank you for joining, Kensani.
Okay, awesome, man. I love the point about flowers. As long as we're not bribing potential clients.
No, we're not.
I'm kidding.
Cold customer relations.
Awesome. We've got some comments here. From Anzile saying, Mr. Ntabeni, we are within and looking forward to the conversation. And then we've got Tamron here, Tamron from Durban, saying, Nhlamu has taught me to be serious about my time and finances, stop doing the work for free, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to him. So that's a shout out from Tamron to you, Nhlamu. Then we've We've got a couple of people who are busy typing questions. I'll go through those at a later stage. For those of you who've just joined, I'm on the live Instagram chat with Nhlamulo Ntabeni. He is the managing director at Moolow and also sits on the RBA Youth Council board. Thank you so much for joining. We're busy going through a couple of questions that can help entrepreneurs better position themselves during lockdown as well as post-lockdown. Some tips and tricks as to how they could best manage their time during and post-lockdown. Nhlamulo, what are the key things that you think entrepreneurs should consider doing after lockdown to stand out amongst their competitors?
Sure. Well, P.W. Botha once said, adapt or die. So it's a matter of what are we doing moving forward? I mean, our country is now facing the pandemic, which means that we really have to reevaluate how we do our business. I was on the call last night with my mentor for about an hour discussing as to what are the things that he feels that we should actually pilot a lot now during the COVID-19. And he said to me, I should tell young entrepreneurs that adapt or die. Develop ideas that are going to adapt and not die. That quote should stick with each and every entrepreneur, adapting and dying. Now it's a matter of if your business has not brought you money now, there is no money that's going to come in. You need to change your modality, right?
Can I ask, and sorry to interject, what have you guys done to adapt at this point as a business?
We focused on our core strength. We focused on our marketing, and we just don't want to speak too soon. We're currently developing an online training facility that will be able to train a lot of people with our accreditation. So that's something that we're busy discussing with our partners and different seaters as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
And you heard it first. You heard it first on 20 Hustling, guys. Continue with, with your chat. Sorry about that.
So another thing is that now is the time to bring your crazy idea to life. Whatever you thought that could never exist, now is the perfect time to bring it out to life. I mean, while I was busy preparing for today's talk, my dad called me and said, come see something on TV. And there's a company in Zanin that has partnered with the municipalities. And what they've done is that now they're spreading information using a drone. So what they do is that they connect a loudspeaker onto a drone, and they fly the drone around. Now, what are they saving on? The municipality is now saving on traveling costs. It's saving on having administrators on the ground. All it needs is just a few guys flying the drones and repeating the speech that the mayor has prepared. So I think that's an example for us as entrepreneurs to come up with something that is so relevant to the current situation that we live in now. I mean, your idea may seem crazy, but you can actually bring it to life. You can actually do it and make it happen. You know, and it just needs a kick, just needs a, that last kick saying,
extra boost. Yeah.
Just do it. You know what I mean?
All right.
And the final thing I'd like to say is that back to basics. Back to basics. It's time for entrepreneurs, young people, people who aspire to be in business to go back to the drawing board. Sit down with a white piece of paper and draw up ideas that are going to be feasible for you. But they must speak to three things that I've highlighted. It must speak to innovation, to change, and to relevance. Whatever you develop and create from moving forward, it must be innovative. It must speak to the change that we're going to encounter, that we're encountering, and you must still remain relevant. So if you are a service provider like myself who specializes in training, we need to now speak to digital platforms that are going to be able to reach our clientele. However, we should make sure that whatever we develop must have relevance here as well, because we are entrepreneurs, not NPOs.
Yeah, of course. I love that. I love these three buckets that you've identified: innovation, change, and relevance. Perhaps we can reflect on one or two businesses. Well, I'm going to start off with one that I'm personally involved in, Localized RSA, which is an online retailer. I saw my partner on the call here as well. We went through a process of a lot of uncertainty at the beginning as to how we would adapt, as Nhlamulo said, to the lockdown. Knowing that our company provides a lot of services to people around the country, with focuses on industries like your furniture manufacturers, your wholesale clients within the food spaces, electronics, etc. We needed to find a way to still be relevant, but kind of hold the orders that people have been placing before lockdown, so that they're still in the know that we still are in business of producing those things and supplying those things. However, are also in the position to help provide essential services. So what did we do? To be innovative, we decided to formally introduce a wholesale channel, but focused primarily on the essential services products. So things like your sanitizers, things like your masks, things like the clothing that some of the medical professions wear. And over time, we see ourselves also being able to provide tips and tricks as to how you can protect yourself as an individual who wants to, start going back to work, etc. I also think your points about change and relevance, super important. If you're not open to adapting to that change, you will be stuck in the past. If you're not open to doing those Zoom calls, right? Those Instagram chats that some of us are not as open and confident to do as others. If you're not open to doing those, then you're gonna find yourself in a very funny position.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nhlamulo, I'd like to ask you another question, more around your thoughts around if it's okay for entrepreneurs to seek alternative paths, whether it be career or it be, starting a new venture in these times. Do you think they should kind of wait it out, or do you think they should already start looking at some alternatives?
Before I even speak, I just need to just highlight that it is my opinion. I don't want to be dragged on Twitter or wherever your platforms are as to this is the solution that they're saying we should go for. But I personally feel like my question I should then pose is that how passionate are you about your business? When you started your company, what were your objectives and have you reached them? So long as you haven't reached them, then you need to stay in your business. You need to push in. And if you're selling tomatoes on the side of the road, now is the time to find an online platform where you can sell your tomatoes and have a delivery service. So have that relevance floating around your business. That is how I'm handling my businesses. And now is the time to create and to innovate. Everything we do now speaks around innovation. 4IR, it speaks around creativity. That's all that we should be doing now. As young entrepreneurs, you cannot consistently be changing different types of businesses. Today you're a tailor, tomorrow you're a doctor, the next day you're a lawyer. What legacy are you leaving as a person? How will people remember you? You know what I mean? I mean, when I was busy posting these posters, a lot of people were just highlighting as to how they know you, Lerato, of the things you used to do in your past, right? The type of business that you've been doing has built up to where you are today. You might not be a multi-millionaire, but trust me, we are very successful at our age and in the things that we're doing right now. A lot of people have dreamt and desired to be where we are now. So we should make sure that we live, we excel in the things that we do and make a great example of it. And another thing is that entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship is unfortunately not designed for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So if you try entrepreneurship for 2 to 3 years and it's not working, I cannot sit here and lie to you and say, keep going. You should feel it in your gut that, you know what, we can't do this anymore. And that should be well and good for you to go and join another company or the government or whichever organization that you choose to work for. So it's very important to know yourself and to know what your objective was when you started. Have you achieved it? And if you're not achieving it and you can still see that it's not bringing you money, my dear friend, then entrepreneurship is definitely not for you. So there are 4 things that I want people to also remember with this question is that as an entrepreneur, it is very important to have resilience. That's number 1. You need to be very resilient. Number 2 is that you need to be very patient. Patience is, I think it should be number 1. Patience is something that we built to have as entrepreneurs in today's time. Because you do work for a client today, you get paid after 30 days. What happens between then and the 30 days, right? You should have passion for what you do and great vision for your company. A vision that looks beyond the horizon. Because sometimes when you sit as entrepreneurs, every time I talk about my business to people, to someone who's a doctor, they're probably thinking, this guy has no idea what he's doing. Why doesn't he just find a job? I mean, he's a qualified academic. Why doesn't he just find a job? But when you have the passion for what you do, only you can see your vision and bring that vision to life. It's up to you. Bring the vision to life.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful, guys. For those who've just joined, we are having a conversation, Nhlamulo and I, about some of the things that entrepreneurs should consider doing during lockdown as well as post-lockdown. Nhlamulo is the managing director at Moolow, and he's also one of the board members at RBA, Youth Council. Thank you so much again, Nhlamulo, for being on this call. I see a lot of comments here that I just want to start going through. We've got one here from Buibelo saying, yes, consistency is so key. Thank you, Nhlamulo. Nhlamulo Ntabeni also saying flowers are a form of what we call client appreciation from your chat earlier. Kanye, I believe Kanye is your business partner, right? Is this the same Kanye?
Yes.
Kanye saying stick to what you do, #consistency. Localized saying #consistency. And then we've got a shout out here from Tumelo. Remember Tumelo from Limpopo?
From the training at the mine.
the training at the mine.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Shout out to you guys from this side of Bochum, Limpopo. Hey, Dumelo. Good to
Shout
have you,
out,
man.
yeah.
Then we've got, let me just check here. We've got Felicity saying, I understand being consistent, but how do you stay relevant during this time and also be a business that considers CSI? Do you have a response for her, Nhlamulo?
Oh, Felicity is also part of Moolow. Quite interesting. We need to stay relevant with CSI, corporate social investment. Correct. Yeah. Wow. How do you stay relevant? That's something we should discuss in the next call.
How do we stay relevant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, cool. Most definitely. Thank you for that thought-provoking question, Felicity. I'm gonna just go back to another question. Okay, so Boipelo says, adapting a business, especially at this time, can be a daunting and overwhelming process, especially dealing with limited funds and staff layoffs at the same time. What advice do you have to help get through this, Nhlamulo?
What advice do I have for someone like you, Boipelo, would be, if you have to downscale, then go for it, but do not change the core business that you have. Capitalize on the many opportunities we have. I know a lot of people are complaining about not receiving the funds from the government and all these initiatives. I'll just still promote that people should still capitalize on those. If you have any financial assistance that the government is offering you, capitalize on that. Then you'll be able to adapt. And don't forget, if you need to downscale, but don't change your core business.
Nice. That's solid advice. We've got a comment here from Localize saying it's time to collaborate, and I couldn't agree more. And Nhlamulo and I go way back to a number of different projects. Some successful, others not. We've even come up with nice nicknames for people that we've met along the way. There's a nice Jimmy character that we met along the way. Very difficult somebody to work with. However, Jimmy was the money man behind everything we were doing. So we had to make sure that things came out successfully in the end. The point I'm trying to make is it may be difficult sometimes to collaborate with our fellow brothers and sisters, but as an entrepreneur, you really succeed in or through collaborations.
Absolutely.
You'll find yourself a lot of the times also being limited by your skill set. If not skill set, you're limited by funds. If not funds, you're limited by access. So how do you overcome those different obstacles? Through having the next person who is maybe better at public speaking. Nhlamulo is that guy between the two of us. Come through and deliver that specific service or that particular skill that you may not be as strong with. You can also tackle it from a different angle. Instead of having yourself be the person who is the face of a particular project or a particular opportunity, or even selling your product online, have someone who has the access. In this case, you could have typically a localized sell your product online. The brand I'm wearing, Influence, founded by a guy by the name Tumi Finger and Ria Betswe. This brand came about from seeing a need of young people who want cool brands to wear and swag with, right? But he knew, Tumi and Rio, the both of them knew that they don't have all the skills between the two of them. So what did they do? They start leveraging. You start pulling someone, even in these tough times, you pull someone who's great at digital. You pull someone who's great at social media. You pull someone who's great at creating content. And you use those different skill sets to articulate what you do better.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, collaboration, super key. Do you have anything to add, Nhlamulo?
I think one of the reasons why we're on this call now is mainly because of collaborations and partnerships. I mean, we need to stop working in silos. This thing of working in silos does not make us as the young entrepreneurs and young Black people successful, because we're competing amongst each other. The moment we start seeing the good in each other and practicing good business conduct, because it's one thing to not work in silos, but then not have good business conduct. So it's very important to have both of them, removing the silos and working as partnerships and collaborations, as well as having a great business conduct. Because without that, we won't have any SMMEs or any small businesses.
Of course. Thank you for that. And we've got another point here by Felicity saying relevance equals content is king and innovation distribution is queen. Innovative distribution is queen. Thank you for that point, Felicity. Another question from Wipelo. What products or services have you had to onboard, if any, to ensure that your business succeeds during this time? Ooh, this is a nice one. I'll start if you want. So with us, I'll speak both on the consulting side as well as the online business. So RR Creative Solutions has had to look into digital services. So we had already started thinking about how we would play in that space before lockdown. However, the intent was much more aggressive because of the current economic state that we're in. So we've adjusted our offerings to help small businesses as well as corporates onboard or not even so much onboard, but transform their offerings to an online platform. And through them doing that, also walk the journey with them where they may find challenges. With Localized, we've looked at introducing a different range of products. We introduced an entire department called Health and Hygiene, which positioned us as an essential services provider. Very quickly formed relationships with manufacturers, with retailers who are in the space who can supply us. Others as well being small businesses who provide those services, whom we could simply onboard onto our platform and have sell their products on their behalf. Nhlamu, what have you done in these times?
Well, in these times, we gratefully have continued doing business as usual. Like I said, we only had a challenge with the training and the interactions. So with that, we've come up with a solution of bringing our content to be a digital platform sort of training, of which we're still not done, still in the process of developing that software. So as part of that, we've also extended our accreditation with our CETAs. So we have more modules to offer, which then means that we're able to have a better service offering for our training companies. And with regarding to our property company that we're managing, we're now capitalizing on we're capitalizing on the economy. So we're going to be the vouchers when people can no longer afford the properties.
Nice. We'll be there. Well, I don't know whether to say nice or to be like,
it's not nice, but yeah, we don't run NPOs, we run businesses. Yeah.
Run business. All right, nice one. We've got Influence Africa on the line. Hello, Influence. Thanks for joining us.
And Lunga is on the line as well.
Say again?
Lunga, the guy I mentioned about the suits I wear.
Oh, yes, Lunga. Hey, what's up, Lunga? Please comment there. I can see you. Yeah. Guys, be interactive. We are here to answer any questions you may have. And just to quickly reflect, we're on the line with Nhlamulo Ntabeni, the MD of Moolow. He is sharing some insights on his personal entrepreneurship journey. And we're also giving tips and tricks as to how you can position yourself and what you could consider doing during and post-lockdown. So for the sake of time, we are going to be answering 3 more questions before we humbly leave this call. The first one, Nhlamulo, that I'd like to pose to you is, how do you think we can encourage and practice more collaborations amongst our people as well as amongst entrepreneurs?
Okay, so how do I think we can do that? There's a number of points that I'd like to share with you guys. Firstly, we should just remove the idea of negative competition. There's positive competition and negative competition. Yeah. Just to elaborate further, positive competition is good for you in the sense that it pushes you and, allows you to be more competitive. And negative competition it's competition that just drags you down because you focus more energy on the negative competition, right? Example A, if like you mentioned, our service offerings are the same with regards to RR Creatives and Moolow. But the mere fact that we focus on our positive
The value
competition,
yeah.
the positive competition,
Yeah.
we thrive a lot in it. So I would like to
Yes.
speak to a lot of young people and say, now shed off the negative competition, focus more on the positive competition, because within, not only in the Black community, but I think in the new generation that we're in now, there's a lot of negative competition that is leading us to work a lot in silos. Another thing I'd say is stay informed, because even in the Bible it says that whatever you speak, right, you speak out of the fullness of your heart. So same thing applies in your business. Whatever you talk about in your business, whatever information you share, is all based on the knowledge that you equip yourself with. So now's the time for us to ensure that we equip ourselves with a lot of information, whether be it in economics, be it in whatever sector that you're working in. We need to make sure that we inform ourselves a lot. What does that do? What does informing ourselves do, right? When you're highly informed with information and you have partnerships, it removes that whole idea of jealousy. When you're highly informed and you know what you need to do, I'll repeat again, it removes the form of jealousy.
I agree.
Supporting each other reduces a lot of jealousy. It reduces anger. It reduces hatred. Another thing we need to teach ourselves as young entrepreneurs, and I've seen a lot when I'm working with a lot of them, is that we have a high level of entitlement. The mere fact that I helped you, I paid for something for your company, does not mean that I should expect it back from you. It is high time that we help people. We must not be fools. Yes, that we must put out on the table.
Sure.
But it's high time that we offer pure collaborations, good business conduct, where if I help you, you do not expect anything back from me.
Sure.
Because when I do that, if I help you and I'm expecting something from you, the day you become successful and I've helped you and you've not helped me, I've now developed the three things, which is anger, jealousy, and hatred. And as an entrepreneur, when you dwell your mind in that negative space, there is no way you're going to be progressive. So it's very important for us to not work within that environment. Stay informed. You know, the brain is so interesting that when you stay informed about certain information, you no longer get, I no longer fear you. When I now know who I am and what my offering is, you can come with your terminology. You can come with your big terminology. But for the mere fact that I know who I am, and I am well informed with the information that I'm supposed to know, there's no way you're going to intimidate me, and I won't be jealous of you. I won't hate you as well.
Chief, you need to become a preacher. I'm telling you, you need to become a preacher.
Nah, that's my current job.
All right. So we've got a comment here from Shelby saying, to answer the CSR question, I would say ensure that you align your CSR initiative with your company strategy to yield mutual business and societal benefit. I love that. Thank you so much for that, Shelby. Yeah, that's a very good perspective. We've also got I've got a question here for you, Nhlamu. What are you currently reading at this point in time?
I'm currently finishing a book that was sent to you, Lerato. That was the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
The subtle art of not giving a fuck. High five to that, brother.
I'm finishing that book. Yeah.
So you're okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'm actually also 5 to finishing. I'm like 3 chapters from finishing that one. What else are you reading? Or are you on that solo?
Like I said, focus on one thing, finish it. And yeah.
Awesome. I'd like to recommend a book to fellow entrepreneurs. It's by one of our own. It's called Africa is Open for Business. Mine is not in the best condition, but yeah, have a look at this book. It gives a nice view of how entrepreneurs, as well as political activists, investors, etc., can really take advantage of how perceptions are of Africa as well as our neighboring continents. So Africa is Open for Business, something worth looking into and reading. Take your time though, because the guy uses that fancy English. So every now and then you need to open up that dictionary and and
that's if there was no IEB there, but okay.
Of course. So we've got another question here from Nompi. how do we work around negative competition and use it to the advantage of for the advantage of our businesses? And how do we foster a culture of collaboration amongst one another? So we've answered the second one. We'll focus on the first one. How do we work around negative competition and use it to our advantage?
Okay, so a lot of motivational speakers will tell you that it's great to use the negative part of it and let it be something that inspires you. For me personally, I would say, as if you can shed it off, just do as much of it. Remove any negative energy. We should stop this thing of saying negativeness is what pushes me to be great. Then that tells me that you're a negative person yourself. You should be motivated by positive energies. So my advice to you is that try to remove as much as negative energies or negative competition in your area, and ensure that you surround yourself with positive energy. We do live in a country or in a world where things are not perfect. I need to acknowledge that. But we live in a world where we can also design the world that we want to live in. We choose the people that we want to have around us. We choose the businesses that we want to have an encounter with. So long as you have that opportunity and right, shed it off as much as you can. There is no such thing as I'm going to prosper because Mang hates me, or Samang loile or something like that. That stuff doesn't work.
It doesn't work. All right, man. Just to finish off, we've got your partner Kanye saying also still yet to read that book. She'd love to meet Jimmy. So I think Jimmy will, I don't know if we want to work with Jimmy, but we will try our best to work with him again, to collaborate with him again.
Anything to do with them.
Yeah, if it's got. And then we've got Candy here saying, I'm enjoying that book. And then we've got Boipelo saying, as for Baloi.
But it's something we need to talk about. I mean, we are all young Africans where everyone believes in their own conspiracy. And the more negative news that you surround yourself with, you start dwelling in it and you don't focus on what you're destined to do. 100%. And that is why you find people being angry at young people like us who I'd like to believe are doing great things, because now they are 40, 50 years and they have not achieved one thing because they've been focusing on the negative energies.
Hashtag Jimmy. No, I'm kidding. Okay, cool.
I just elaborated.
I love the energy that we've put on this call, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut it short a bit. Oh man, there's one question that we need to put out. There's one question, and the only reason I'm forcing this one, it literally just popped up. It's from one of our partners, My Hustle Under 25. They are asking, do you think entrepreneurship will be a subject in high school in the near future?
Before I answer that, I still qualify for My Hustler Under 25, so they must contact. I still highly qualify. Another thing is that, yes, entrepreneurship should be started from grade 7. From grade 7, not as a Friday cake day, but as an actual subject, teaching the kids from a young age on how to be an entrepreneur, how to be innovative in your own space. It should start there. Things like marketing and branding should be touched. I mean, we did business management in high school, but none of that stuff helped me today. We need to not only blame the government, but we need to start advising the government and the schools to focus more on information that is more usable in the future. Awesome. So yes, it should be part of the schools.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And the My Hustler Under 25 says, I'd love to have you as a speaker. I'll share the information with you, My Hustler Under 25. So we've got 2 more comments saying this was such an insightful decision, gents. Thank you so much, from Wibelo. We've got Nompi saying thank you, and we've got Candy saying those who have not read Who Moved My Cheese should do so. It helps with the book. Have you read it?
Yeah, I've read that book. It's a great book.
I'm gonna call you after the to hear your thoughts. So thank you so much, Nhlamulo. Do you have any final remarks for our listeners?
Another thing I just want to say is that just to close up the conversation is that allow your crazy idea to be a reality in this time. If you feel as though you can develop something that can be relevant in the time moving forward, take the opportunities that you have now and move with it. And don't be afraid to talk to people and get advice, because what is keeping us in our corners and making young people not successful is the fear of the idea being stolen. So now is the time to consult with people. Now is the time to interact with people. Bring your crazy idea. Bring it out. Let's bring it out from South Africa, because African countries are doing it. So we need a young entrepreneur in South Africa who's going to come up with something that is crazy. And I, for one, am willing to support that person with each and every ounce that I have in my body.
Power, power, power.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. And just for anyone who joined late, we were having a conversation about some of the ways in which entrepreneurs can position themselves during and post-lockdown, as well as some of the things entrepreneurs should consider doing during lockdown and post-lockdown. I'm joined by Nhlamulo Ntabeni, the Managing Director of Moolow, as well as one of the board members of RBA Youth Council. Thank you so much, Nhlamulo, for your time tonight. And I think we may need to do a follow-up chat with the audience. We're getting a lot of good feedback. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
That is fantastic.
If you would like to further engage with Nhlamulo, he is available through Moolow. Please share your Moolow details, Nhlamulo.
All right, so we have a website called www.moolow.co.za. We are on Instagram at Moolow RSA, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And all our contacts are there. If you want to send a mail, it's info@moolow.co.za.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank our partners, Localized RSA, RR Creative Solutions, and Kopana Holdings. Thank you so much for the contribution made to make these calls successful. Feel free to further engage with 20 Hustling, DM us, comment, engage in whichever way you feel most viable. And we'll chat again in the third episode of 20 Hustling. Thank you so much.
I'd also like to thank my business partners, the people that are helping Moolow become the great business that it is today, my mentor, and everyone that is supporting me. Thank you so much for joining.
Perfect. Thanks, guys, and have a good evening.
Great. Thank you.
Cheers.